Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is Dady Kay with a classic radio, classic TV. I'm so excited again. I'm so appreciative of the entire world supporting this great cause of Mrs. Lane Amankoa Neatman, whom we had a few interview with her. She is running for the 4th District Congress. We had this interview, and I saw that enthusiasm from everybody and across the globe. Not only that, tonight I'm also excited because I have another person who is also doing or standing for something very, very important in this same Atlanta, Georgia. And this will be the reflection of exactly what is going on in across the globe and here in the United States. The rest of the states, I know they are going to follow the same footsteps. We have the female who is standing for the Congress, and then we have another person who is sitting right in front of me, also doing a similar position. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out what actually causes it. If you just get up out of the blue and say, you know what, this is what I want to do, or it is something that's been in the pipeline for so long. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mr. George Awuku. Mr. George, welcome to Classic TV.
Thank you so much, Andrew Grayson, for inviting me on your radio station, and I appreciate that.
And don't forget, Classic Radio is KLASIKRADIO. That's the radio, and then the Classic TV as well. We come your way. We give it back to our community. I always say, be informed, make a profit, get an option, and support. So what we support our community is that it pass the good information everywhere for us to benefit of it. Because if the lack of knowledge, my people perish. Now, Mr. George Awuku, tell us, who is Mr. George Awuku?
Well, I was born in Ghana to a very successful businessman who passed last year. That's my dad, and my mom, who was we'll say, Ghana high school teacher. So one of 13 kids of my dad, 2 with my mom. I'm an engineer, professional engineer in the state of Georgia. I live in Gwinnett County. Lived here for plus or minus 12 years, but in the Atlanta general area for almost 20 years. I have my own practice, and America has been very, very good to me. I've been able to raise my kids. One just finished high school actually this year, and looking forward to really enjoying the rest of our interview. I'm open to questions.
Okay. Anyway, congratulations for even stepping out, because this is something we've been discussing, behind the bars for so long, that we need some of us to step up and be in a position where they can also support, if not only people from your ethnic background, for the immigrant also to have some kind of a confidence in the system. What is the position? I know you were running for some position, accounting for some position. What is the position you are running for, and why do you choose that particular position and not the rest?
Well, I'm running for Gwinnett County, the chairman of the Board of Commissioners.
Okay.
What the Board of Commissioners does is very similar to what a city council or I don't know, in Ghana, I think we might call it like district level. But what you have is basically in each county or each in the US, you have counties or cities. You have the chairman, who is the kind of like a president of the Board of Commissioners, or a mayor who sits on top of the city council meetings. And in Gwinnett County, we have 4 districts. And there are 5 commissioners. So with these 4, each district has its own commissioner. And the chairman is basically the head of that board. The board of commissioners make the rules, mainly the ordinances and regulations, and they also enforce it. Whereas in the US Congress, you'd have the president basically executing the rules and regulations that are passed by House of Congress. In the county or on the city level, there's those local ordinances, rules and regulations are actually enacted locally and also and put into practice or not enforced, but anyhow, executed by the Board of Commissioners, with the chairman being. Gwinnett County is a place I chose because I think most immigrants, when most of us from other parts of the world, when we come, we are looking for a good opportunity for ourselves and our kids. We want our kids to be in good schools. We want safety. We are used to low crime. We want peace of mind, most immigrants. We're also looking for a place where we can thrive. You know, when you work hard, you will prosper. And Gwinnett County was a place that was very attractive when I looked at other states and other counties. Gwinnett County espoused and provided us a very safe haven. It had excellent schools to raise your kids. Crime is very low and still continues to be low in Gwinnett County. And the taxes, for me being a Republican, I feel the taxes here in Gwinnett County are much lower. We don't see our property taxes go high. And so what really brought me into this race was, first, I consider this as being of public service.
Okay.
Okay, if you are going into a position as a chairman or a district commissioner, you're not going there to lord or to feel you have sort of role to subjugate or try and, as we say back home, lord over people. You're actually a servant of the people. And so, to say back to America, thank you so much for all you've done for me and my family. I like to be able to offer my services, given my background, first in Ghana, also in the UK. I spent 10 years there, and then coming here to the States. And in all these three different locations, I noticed that in America, time is money. If you work hard, and if you dedicate yourself and you pay your due, follow the rules and regulations, you will succeed. There's no two ways about that. You can't do that in Europe, where they have so much rules and regulations that makes it very difficult for any successful person to really rise above. And of course, from where I come, we can't do that. It's through connections, who you know. We all know that. That makes you. But here, you don't need to be anybody. So long as you work hard, you play by the rules, you will succeed. And I'm a living proof of that. So over the years, what has happened is this dream where immigrants would come in and succeed in this Gwinnett County is changing, because I've worked with the county for over 20 years, and other counties, by the way. And it's becoming more and more difficult, actually, to get things done in the county. There's some cost of living is going up everywhere. But there are some true indicators that would tell you that if we are not careful, we will soon become like New York or California or worse, like in Europe, where there'll be too many rules, too many regulations that basically stifles investments and developments and progress. The last thing I want to do or see is for my kids and my grandchildren to pack their bags up and leave for another state, just as they are doing in New York and San Francisco, because the cost of living is so much higher there, and there's so many rules and regulations basically stifling businesses there. So that's where I'm coming from, and that's the reason I jumped in to be a service, to try and basically stop this slow but sure creeping towards New York style or San Francisco style or Europe style type of rules and regulations which kill business.
What is the process in going to join or to register for the candidates? What is the process? Is it a process that requires a lot, or is just something easy that anybody else can go? What's the process?
The process is not difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, this year we have a lot of immigrants. Actually, those running for the Gwinnett County chairmanship position are 8, and of which 3 are immigrants. On the Democratic side, there are 2 Jamaicans. On the Republican side, I'm the African. But in any case, the process is any American citizen of age 18 and above is more than welcome to register and partake in being a public servant. There's nothing that holds you from wanting to run, and any person who feels they have the calling are more than welcome to try. So it's not difficult.
So how did you get to this point? Is this something you've dreamed of long time ago, or you just get up out of the blue one day and say, you know what, I see they running for the primary, so I want to pick up Gwinnett County Board of Commissioners? How does this thing come to play?
Well, like I said, I over the 20 years, there's a slow but sure drift towards moving away from the Gwinnett County is drifting towards the New Yorks and the Washington and all those what I'll call blue state ideas, and it's not a state that I would like to see myself, my kids, and my grandchildren. I'm sure your grandchildren live in, where it becomes what we call a nanny state. So the process is, depending on which political persuasion you are, Democrat, Republican, you would need to go through a primaries. Basically, you would pay a fee to your party, and you would, of course, announce that I intend to run for maybe sheriff, or I want to run for the Board of Commissioners. And there's a fee to be paid. You register with the County Elections Board. There's what they call notice, I'm trying to remember the name, declaration of intent. And then you register with the Secretary of State, because don't forget, when people make donations to help you run, you need to be able to account for the monies that you received. So everything has to be transparent, and there's all that accountability. Everything has to check and meet the checks and balances. It's federal. These rules and regulations that we are running now is all based on the Federal Election Commission's rules and regulations. So you can run. Anyone who is an American citizen is more than welcome to run for any position in the county or state.
When is this voting coming up? What date? And do we have a proxy vote?
Well, due to the COVID-19, the earlier date for the elections was moved to June 9th to coincide with also the presidential. Initially it was supposed to be May 18th, and it moved to June 9th. Excuse me. And excuse me about that. And so the election day itself is June 9th. But tomorrow, actually, and I would say 2 weeks before then, there was one location in Gwinnett County where folks could go and vote early. Otherwise, tomorrow till Tuesday, they are going to open up more polling stations, more precincts are going to be open for folks to go in and vote. Now, most of the time, Andrew, you'll be surprised, folks don't take active part in the primaries. They're only more interested in a general election. And even with the general elections that we have every 2 years, folks are more interested in a presidential year general election, the every 4-year cycle. Midterms, not that much. Left alone when you come to primaries, very few people really do take part in primaries. But you see, it's the primaries where they elect folks. And if you don't take active part in the primaries, you would end up with very few choices in the general election. So the primaries really does play an important role in the electoral process and elections in this country.
And who is qualified to vote?
A U.S. citizen, resident. If you are in Gwinnett County, you have to be a resident of Gwinnett County, and that's only those are the only folks who are allowed to vote.
So, those of you who are listening to the interview right now, this is Mr. George Awuku and Dady Kay from Classic Radio. Your vote is your voice. Your vote is your choice. If you don't, then don't complain. This time is crucial. The primaries is very, very important. Let's all get out and vote. We have to get out and vote. We have Elena Mankwa, who is standing for the Congress from the south side of Lurburn, Snellville, all the way DeKalb, and then in Newton County. And she's standing for the Congress. We all have to go and support. This is our time. And it's not difficult. Maybe this is the way. From there, you can also decide tomorrow, the next time, I can also stand, because it really doesn't require that much. All what it needs is what you've heard from George. And we want to entreat everybody to go out and vote. The voting is on the 9th, especially here in Gwinnett. What is the exact location, the percent where the voting place location?
Well,
they're going to have a lot of polling stations. So is that a website for them to go and see? Is that a way? People are living everywhere in this Gwinnett.
If you've ever voted, if you live in Gwinnett County and you voted before, you will know which precinct to go.
Okay.
But if you haven't, and this is your very first time,
mm-hmm.
I would strongly encourage you to do a Google search and just put in my voting precinct. And the Secretary of State site is a superb website which will take you. But just Google search it, and it will take you straight. By putting your address, it will show you which polling station is closest to you. Now, for those who haven't ever voted in the primaries and you want to make a difference, because this time you have all the immigrants really running and you really want to get to help us out, I would strongly recommend that when you go to vote, for instance, in my case, when you see the ballot sheet, they'll ask you to tick whether you are voting in the Republican primary, you're voting as a Democratic primary, you're voting as a non-partisan. There are 3 boxes there. If you choose to vote for me and you want to vote for me, I would strongly recommend you tick the Republican box. If you tick any other box, when you go to really cast your vote, you will not find my name on that list. So it's very important to note that. Thank you.
Okay, do you have, let's know your website, because a lot of people, because of what you just said, a lot of people want to go and then verify. Everybody want to see exactly who am I going to vote for. If this is Mr. George Awuku, EJ, we have a lot of lip service everywhere. So what is your website for everybody to go and double check that this is the person I want to vote for in the near future to become the Board of Commissioners?
Yes, my website is www.georgeforgwinnett.com. Again, www.georgeforgwinnett.com. Thank you.
And do you have a campaign? Do you have, every campaign has a campaign manager, and sometimes if somebody want to go and then donate,
yes, on this very website.
Okay, GoFundMe or
yes.
whatever it is for anybody who.
Yes, thank you. On the website, there is a button there for donation, and also for volunteers. We have a very positive message, Andy. So, folks are surprised by the amount of money that we've raised. Coming in help, money. It's the volunteers that I really need at this time. People to make calls and call their friends. I need you folks to go out, invite your friends, invite family members. Make sure on Tuesday they go and cast their vote. Whether you live in Gwinnett or you live in any other part of this great state of ours, Georgia, go and vote, please. Go out and vote, and take your friends, take your family members, and make sure they vote. It's very important. I mean, you all can see what is happening with this George Floyd situation, right? So guess who? The Board of Commissioners actually does control the budget for the police department. Do you know that?
No.
Okay. So if you want to make a positive, listen, go and vote. It's good to go and campaign and march and protest, but if you want things to change, if you want things to move in a way that we see less of the George Floyd situation, you need to take active part in your community. Thank you.
Okay, you need to take part in your community. It is very important. These the primaries. Get out and vote. As simple as that. Get out and vote. What is the phone number and then the time frame? I asked the same thing on the other side, and then the time, the window cap or the cap where people can call, because if you put a phone number there, somebody might be calling you out this maybe early in the morning. So what is the phone number, and then when it's available, they can call you anytime. And sometimes we call the phone number, and then when the phone number rings, you don't pick it up. So let us know, let everybody know, because these our listeners will be going to vote, so they have to at least know and have an assurance and warrant that anytime you call within this time, certain time, I'll pick it up.
Okay, thank you. My number straightforward is 404-597-6745. Again, 404-597-6545. And I don't mind giving my number out. You can call me anytime. If I'm not sleeping, I'll pick it up. But this is what most politicians do. And I'm not a politician, and I don't intend to be a politician. By the way, don't vote for me if you're expecting a liar, because I never lie. I always speak the truth, and I will tell you the truth as it is. So if you want someone who speaks the truth, I am the guy. But don't expect me to be vote and then become like a politician. Today I say this, tomorrow I say that. No, I'm a straightforward guy, and I will say it as it is. So I gave you my number. If I'm promising you something now and you've heard, and you find that I'm not living to that, call me and remind me of what I said on this.
I am hopeful. I'm hopeful that we will go out there and vote for George. And also, we don't have to forget that those of you living in the other county, that is the south side of Lilburn, Snellville, DeKalb, and Newton counties, you can go and vote for Elaine. After that, my producer is going to post both George and her, how they call it, the flyers below for you to see the rest of it. Now, George, I want to ask you this final question. I know we've been spending some few time here because this is serious. For whatever is going on, you're sitting home, either you're excited or not, you see how to make your vote count. Your voices must be heard. It's not going to raise your voice somewhere, stand outside and argue with anybody, but through your vote. Your vote is your time. Your vote is your choice. So please, let's get out and vote. Now, Joe, if you are voted into office, what will you do different from what is happening now?
As far
as the city-wise, the immigration-wise, the immigrant-wise, and the information, because a lot of time we don't get the information unless you go and see somewhere. So it is very crucial for most of us.
Well, I would engage the local communities, and that would I think from our culture, and we tend to go to either a lot of churches or mosques, depending on your religious faith. So I'd like in the churches to be meeting with the pastors to know what is going on and what we can do to help our local community. And if it's the mosque, meet the imam and also find out what the county can do. There are a lot of great programs out there, a lot of grants. And the county basically uses these, applies to the federal and also to the state level for these grants that would use to support local communities. Like if you have like this COVID situation which is coming, we had the Ghana Council, by the way, has got a program where they are trying to help Ghanaians who are in need because of this COVID situation. So we can reach out to them. The Ghana Council can approach us and we can see what federal and state grants are available to help these non-profits organizations. So if that's what your question was meant, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yes, that's
okay.
Right.
And finally, I know I've asked you the last one. Finally, why should them and tell our fellows who are listening to us right now, what is the last word that you're going to give it to them? Because on the night they just right a corner.
Well, like I said, you have my number again, 404-597-6745. Go out and please take part. Vote and vote wisely. I'm running on the Republican ticket, and I know a lot of immigrants would not share my views on us following the Republican. But what has made this county great, and what continues to make this county great, is the frugality, the efficiency, and the way that Republicans handled this county. I've worked in other counties. I meet all the officials in other counties, and by far, trust me, those who live in Gwinnett know that Gwinnett is a good place to live.
And thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. George Awuku. You've heard from the Houses of Mouth. There's no any further information we can give. Now you've heard the phone number, you have the website. Just go and double check, verify yourself, and make sure you are voting for the right person. But it is good. It is motivation, and I hope in the next primaries, a lot of people are going to step up again, so we can have maybe Dady Kay is also going to stand.
Amen.
Since I know it's not out, it doesn't take that long. But
Amen.
we want to thank you so much for supporting and then patronize all what we're doing in Classic Radio. For all your commercial needs, just holler Classic Radio. We'll come to you. Thanks to technology, it has gone a long way. And anything you need, now we're going even through the 5G, it will just go through the roof. And I want to thank Mr. George also for stopping by and letting our families understand, the people and the citizens, especially here in Gwinnett County, understand his motives and what he want to do to act. The information base is very, very important. If you don't have the information, then you can fall into the wrong hands. But when you got it through Classic Radio, through Mr. George Awuku, maybe now he knows most of the people out here. I'm going to go to him and get those information. So thank you once again, and we appreciate whatever you're doing to support Classic Radio through thick and thin. Thank you, Mr. George.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
God bless you.